Hey everyone, it's Jack here. Now yesterday I posted a question saying to ask me whatever you like. I put it all on my social media and today we're going to answer it. We're going to cook some food while we do so. So let's find out what you guys want to know. Now I've just got some of this defrosting. I think we're pretty much good to go. So we're going to cook this in there. Also got some sticky rice, and then later we're going to have this too. Cotton candy flavor. I love these. They're actually so good. I definitely have a caffeine addiction. I tell you that much. I've decided to use a bigger pot, just heating this up real quick. And then I've decided to use the smaller one for some green beans. Okay, so first question we got from Eduardo on Instagram. He says, when I duplicate my ads to reach more people, what happens to my budget? I think he's talking about Facebook ads. So when you duplicate your ads, that will just make a copy of everything. If you have 5 ad sets on that ad, that will copy the 5 ad sets. If you have a budget of $20, that will copy that budget as well. So if you're currently spending $20 and you duplicate it, you'll be spending another $20. So it duplicates everything, including budget. So please take note of that.
Oh, we're cooking now.
Woo! Next question here is from Katea, and she asks, are you vacuuming your beard? Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You have to keep up with your personal hygiene, okay? Same can be applied for both men and women. Get a vacuum.
Almost burnt down the place because I forgot that this was on. So I was heating it up for the green beans, but we got them in. Got in the green beans. Then a little seasoning can't hurt. We've got Italian herbs, right? We got some all-purpose. Now, if you haven't tried this, right? If you haven't tried this all-purpose seasoning blend, get on it. Master Foods, so good. It makes everything taste so nice. Super easy when you're doing it with a camera in your other hand. So doing this one-handed, highly recommend. It is very easy.
Now I'm just waiting for the mince and the beans to cook. But while we wait, we've got another question on Instagram from Bapari Official. He asks, bro, are you based in Sydney? Unfortunately not, my man. I am based in Brisbane. I'm Queensland bound. Queenslander. I was born and bred in Queensland, so I'm a Brisbane boy. And next question comes from Facebook, from Michelle. She asks, are you single? No, I'm not single. Got a cute little Asian girlfriend, so sorry to break it to you, Michelle, but I am taken.
Mince is done. Green beans on the way.
And we've got our sticky rice that we made earlier. Now, while we're waiting for these green beans to finish, I've got another question to answer on Instagram. Now, going by the username, I'm going to call you Devon. If not, correct me if I'm wrong. But he asks, I am so keen to start Amazon FBA. However, capital is an issue. What are my options? So here's 2 things I would personally do if I was starting off with a smaller budget of, say, maybe around $500. The first thing you could do is maybe order just a very, very small amount of units, maybe anywhere from 10 to 50 units. Depending on what you're selling, that with shipping included and taxes could keep you around the $500 mark. Otherwise, another thing you could do through Amazon is either dropship or even resell. You could even do FBM for a little while, which is filled by merchant, which you could do the dropshipping with. You could sell bits and pieces here and there, so you don't have to order large quantities. But what I would personally recommend is just to do that and just keep saving your money until you can put a bigger investment into your first product. That way you can compete with the competition and you have a better chance of success when it comes to FBA.
Now we've got the green beans and the mince mixed up. I weigh my food because I am calorie counting at the moment.
And then in here, we've just microwaved some rice. I've only got a small bit, only like a single handful, because this is very calorie dense, this stuff. This kind of rice is Thai rice. It's called glutinous rice. And this holds a lot of calories. So we'll weigh this and I'll tell you what I mean. So this small amount, that 100 grams of cooked rice is like 200 calories or more. So it costs a lot of calories. Hey, eating healthy doesn't have to look terrible, and this actually looks quite good. I've come back from the gym like half an hour to an hour ago, so I'm quite hungry. So we're gonna eat and answer some more questions. The next question we have is from Mark. He asks, which Aussie supplier would you recommend the most? So if you're talking about Amazon FBA, I would still recommend Alibaba. I think it's the best. It's got the biggest selection of products, and I think that you can't really go wrong. They're not based in Australia, they're based in China, but I think you're safe to use them for Amazon FBA. I've been using them ever since I started selling online back in 2016, 2017. So I think the most reliable in my opinion. If you're talking about dropshipping in Australia, there's 3 that I would probably recommend. One is CJ Dropshipping, great selection, great prices. Another one is iDropship. They're based in Australia. Now, while their product selection isn't as big, they've got 2 to 7 day shipping within Australia because they are based in Australia. The prices are a little bit higher, but they are expanding their product selection as well. And the third one is good old trusty AliExpress. So I personally only use AliExpress in the testing phase of a product. If you're getting more than say 5 to 10 orders a day, then I would recommend changing to CJ Dropshipping, even Hyperskew as well. I have tried Alibaba, but their dropshipping is a little bit different. I would just personally recommend using a different site for supplies, because AliExpress is great and all, but once you start getting to that 50 to 100 orders per month, there starts to become issues, like just in terms of fulfillment, in terms of keeping everything organized. And it's great for testing products, but AliExpress is something that I would only use in the early stages, then move to something more reliable. I also have a complete video that lays out all the suppliers I recommend for dropshipping in Australia, so I'll leave that around here somewhere, or you'll see it around this video. Go and check that out, because I think it's very helpful if you're looking to dropship in Australia and you're having trouble finding suppliers. This is our final question. It's from Really BPJ, and they ask, what has been your biggest triumph in 2022? I had to think on this for a bit. I guess if you're talking in terms of career, talking in terms of life itself, if you're just talking about in general, I would say my biggest triumph this year is realizing that I have so many different avenues I can go into. I don't have to stick to one niche. If you didn't see my last video, or one of my last videos about me turning 27, in that video I actually speak a lot about changing your mind, and you don't have to stick with one thing for the rest of your life. So what I was talking about in my case is that I love e-commerce, right? But I don't see myself sticking to Amazon FBA and dropshipping for the rest of my life. I've been doing it for the past 4 years, and right now it's still great, but I don't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. So I think me realizing that this year in 2022, realizing that my potential far exceeds what I initially thought, is very, I guess, empowering in a way. And look, I have made other small wins here and there this year, but I think realizing that for myself in 2022 has been my biggest triumph, because it has allowed me to think of my work, think of the things that I do in my life in a completely different sense. And I went from sort of overthinking it and doubting myself with a lot of certain things to really become, like I said, empowered by it, and really think to myself, I can change my mind on things. It's okay to change my mind, and I feel really good about it, and I'm really happy. You know, I am capable of changing my mind and not having to stick with the same thing day in, day out. If there's something that I don't like in my life, I can change it, and I can work hard at something else if I choose to do that. So thank you for that last question. I actually really like that one. Now, I'm just editing this video, and I just realized that I've completely forgotten to answer a couple of questions, because I posted this on my YouTube as well. This question we got on YouTube here is from Eva, and they asked, do you still think it's a good time to get started in online business during this price inflation? Look, I'm very indifferent when it comes to this kind of thing. Like with inflation, I think it was good at the start of the pandemic back in 2020. I started, a couple of successful Shopify stores then, and really, like, in my opinion, it shouldn't matter. Obviously, there's consideration. Now, while I don't think that this price inflation is just something to take easy, I think that the inflation is going to affect a lot of people. But in saying that, I don't think that it should be used as an excuse to not get started in online business. Really, in the midst of this, when you think about it, if you're looking at starting an online business, this is the time when there's going to be less people doing it. So it's your opportunity to actually do it while people are laying low, saving their money. So I personally think it's always a great time to get started in online business, because online and the internet isn't going to go away. It's only going to get bigger. We're going to become more connected, okay? And as I get older, and as my generation starts to have kids and their kids grow up, right, it's only going to be more and more accessible. So I think the earlier you can get started, the better. I'm personally a big believer in not letting things like price inflation, just inflation in general, and the way the world's going, to let it dictate your own fear and let it dictate, whether you should get started or not. Because I think the underlying question here is, look, I'm a little bit scared to get started. Should I do it anyway? And I know there's a lot of fear, but you need to try and overcome that fear, because there's never going to be a perfect time to start. So I think the sooner the better. Now, last question comes from Marty, and they ask, how do you do your product photography? So for Amazon FBA, I either do it myself through an iPhone, or I use my camera that I'm filming here now. I just get a sample sent from my supplier and I do my own photography. Otherwise, you can get it sent to a freelancer, say from somewhere like Airtasker or even Fiverr or Upwork. You can get your sample sent either directly from your supplier to the person doing the photography, or you can get a few samples sent to yourself. Then you can send one to the photographer that you've hired, and then they can just send it back after they're done. For dropshipping, it's pretty much the same thing for me. If I have my own website, I still get the product sent to me so I can do my own content. I either film it on my iPhone. Like the last dropshipping store I did, I just did all my content on my iPhone. The camera worked perfectly fine. Otherwise, if you're really not tech savvy, you can hire a freelancer from somewhere like Airtasker, which is an Aussie-based website, or even Upwork, and they can give you beautiful photography for your product. Usually something like that, I would say, would cost maybe around $80 to $100 for a set like that. In my opinion, always try and steer away from using the supplier photos, because a lot of the time, not even the suppliers own the rights to the photos of the product. So you have to be careful which images you use. Now, if you don't have any photos and you need to get a listing done up, or you need to get your website done up, only use the supplier photos for the very, very start. Then I would be getting your own content, your own photos and videos for the product done as soon as possible. But now with these final questions done, we are done. I ate that food that I was talking about like an hour or two ago now. So we're finished with this video, but I hope you guys are having a wonderful day or night wherever you're watching. I've now got, it is 5:30 in the afternoon, and I've got some caffeine. Like I said, I'm quite addicted. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're staying safe, but I'll see you guys in the next one.